The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome everybody to Ditch the Pencil Power Teacher Pro. We're delighted to have you guys here tonight for this webinar. My name is Jill Darrow. I work with the Digital Teaching and Learning team for the Department of Public Instruction. I coordinate all professional learning for our division. We have with us tonight also Tiffany Kinney. She is a home-based trainer. And then actually facilitating today's webinar is Sherry Wood. She's coming to us from Brunswick County, and she's going to facilitate the entire webinar. So as we're going through, if you'll just look at the chat, there is the bit.ly to today's presentation, and if you've got a question, you can type it in the questions, and we'll be answering those throughout the webinar. So we'll turn it over to Sherry and get started.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here tonight, and I typically work from my training site. I would suggest if you want to follow along with the steps that I do for you to be logged into your Power Teacher Pro site. You don't have to be. You can just follow and watch me, but it certainly does help to be able to practice. So if you will make sure that you click on that bit.ly in the chat and either save these slides, you can make a copy so you always have them in case something ever happens to the bit.ly. This has all of the links you need, your registration and your feedback at the end. So I will go through everything that is in the slides. However, I won't be going back and forth between the slides and the Power Teacher Pro. I will stay on Power Teacher Pro training site. And with that being said, I'll get started. If you have questions as we go through, please don't hesitate to type them into chat so we can stop and answer them. And if I go too fast, let me know. So the first thing is when you log in to PowerSchool, you will do it through your home base, and you will click on PowerSchool, and it brings you to this screen. So no more launching, no more pressing this button. You are going to either press Power Teacher Pro under the navigation, or you can press Power Teacher Pro under one of your classes. So I'm going to go ahead and click Power Teacher Pro and go into my test class. And we'll go through setting up our class. So it's brought me straight to my homeroom because I did go under the navigation link. This is my class selector at the top. And what I like to do is kind of just go through a home screen tour, I like to call it, and letting you know what's going on with all of the links and the buttons around the top and the sides. So this is your PowerSchool Live link, and that's always going to take you back to the PowerSchool page we were just on. This is your class selector. And when I use my drop-down menu right here, my quick access toolbar, I can switch between classes. And it's always, you can see as I'm switching between classes, my default page is always my assignment page in Power Teacher. So this is my classes. If I want to go straight to a score sheet in one of my classes, I just click on the score sheet. That's going to take me straight to the score sheet. And this is a new thing. If I want to click on my progress and analyze progress within my classes, I click on that. So this is a very quick and easy way to move between your classes in Power Teacher Pro. Okay. This is your create button, and this creates an assignment or a category. And we're going to create those in a moment. So right now we're just saying this is where they're at when you want to create a category or an assignment. Your help bar. This is so important, and I think, oops, wrong button. And I think one of the great references here with Power Teacher Pro, they have a lot of really good videos, short and to the point videos, a lot of help topics in here for you. So if you forget something, please don't forget the help right here. Here's a quick link to the videos. If you click on your silhouette, you'll be able to change the size of your viewing on your screen. Okay. Down the side, we have our PowerSchool charms. We start with the grading, which is what we default to. So my grading will have all of the assignments that I have created in Power Teacher Pro for that particular class. I also have my score sheet, which is probably what you are most used to seeing. This is the most familiar view for you, is your score sheet and your categories. So this is all the categories that have been created. On your own time, you can go through and see some of the other options that you have in the grading section. We'll go through some of them. Your students will give you independent student information. So here's your demographic screen, which a lot of people, want to know where it is and need access to that. And another really kind of popular tab is your quick lookup for traditional grades. So quick lookup is going to show me the student, all of the classes, all of the teachers, and the grades, absences, and tardies. So this gives me a full picture of one student, an individual student. So quick lookup and demographics. Your progress charm brings you to a page that shows you grade distribution. It's just another great way to analyze your grades within PowerTeacher Pro. It takes the grades that you have for your assignments or particular class and charts them out for you. It also gives you a grade distribution chart, which shows you if students are trending up or down when you compare quarters. This is your reports charm. So you have 4 different reports. We might not have time to go through all the reports, but just so you know, this is for like progress report. Multifunction is for whole class. Your score sheet report kind of looks like your score sheet page that we just had. So it's going to show all of your grades for a certain amount of time. And then your student roster, which is a great organizing chart. That's going to give you a roster of your classes. Let's start with our settings charm to set up our grade book. In the settings charm, let's click on class description. And you can see how you can personalize this to help you have, a grade book that looks like you want and gives the information that you want out to your class. So the top part is the description that is given to you by the data manager. And if you notice right here in custom class name, I'm able to alter the name of my class for my grade book and my organizational purposes. This isn't going to change or mess up anything that your data manager has put in, but it's definitely going to be something that you can use. So I just changed the name of that and it changed up here. Okay? So you can change, again, you can change the name and have custom class names for your classes in gradebook. And when you use your reports, they let you use a custom class name in your report. So you can see at the top here, I just put test at the end so you can see that changed there. In the class description, this is where you can give more information to your parents, admin, students. Anything that's put in this box is going to display to your parents. And I've put a few things in here to let you see what it looks like. So you can put words, you can put links, and you can put pictures. Now, when you put a picture, you have to have a URL. So it's something straight from the web. And this class description is going to show up in PowerSchool if you go to a class and a student that has, let me find one that has it, that has that information in it, it is going to show up in the description. So right here is my class description that I enter. So you can see that it's going to be available for anyone who has access to PowerSchool to be able to see what I've put in there, which is a really great option. I just think that if you can, the more descriptive you can be to parents and the more informed that they are, then that helps you out. Okay, so again, that was in settings and class description. I could go in and change my name of my class, and I could add descriptions of my class. In settings and display settings, I have the option of how I want my gradebook to look. So this is where you're going to go through and choose how you want the gradebook to set up and look as you go through. You're able to show your grades, your traditional grades. Do you want your grade, percent, or points to show? You're able to show standards if you have standards. You can unclick that if you don't want to show it. If you do have standards and traditional grading, you're able to sort and have your gradebook set up to however you want it to look. You're also able to sort students' names. So I'm going to just do first and first and show you. So teachers' preferences were saved. I got a good title there, and I'm going to go to students, and you'll be able to see, wait, let me get in my Math 3, and you'll be able to see that they're being sorted by their first name. Okay, so that was in settings and display settings, and that's just your preference. That's how you want things to kind of be set up and looked at in your grade book. Okay, so that is setting up my grade book. I have display settings and class descriptions. Now, the thing that a lot of people usually want to know and have trouble with is setting up your grade calculations. So to set up your grade calculations, you're going to go to Settings, Charm, Traditional Grade Calculations, or Standard, whichever one that you do. So I'm going to click on Traditional, and I'm going to show you how to do it, but your percentages and your weight, they're going to have to come from your county or your district. So you'll need to talk to your data manager to make sure that your data manager, your team, you need to talk to people in your school to make sure you have the correct weighting and the correct formulas that you're going to be putting in. Most people do a category weighting. This is set up like a high school, and this is actually kind of modeled after the high school I work at. So I'm just going to go through and show you how I did it. So you click on the pencil, and this is my term. So I have to set up my terms first. So when you go in, I have to set up term weighting for quarter 1, and my school said that quarter 1 had to be 40%, so I put in 40. Power Teacher Pro will calculate this. Then I click Add, okay? So I'm going to do term weighting again for quarter 2, and again, my school said that I had to have 40% for quarter 2. And at the end, I have term weighting for my final exam. Again, these attributes, again, are district related, so yours might be a little different, but this would be my exam. And my school said 20%, so I put 20% in. Once I've done all of that, I can hit Save, and I have F1 set up, okay? Now, typically during the quarters, we do category weighting. But you have to have categories in order to do category rating. So you have to create a category, okay? So to create categories, you're going to go up to your Create button along the top right, and you're going to click Category. You probably already have categories in Power Teacher Pro. And if you are not sure, there's a couple places that you can look to see if you have categories. So you can look in the View All tab in Create Category and see all of the categories that you have. You can also look in the Grading Charm and click on Categories and see all the categories that you have. But if you want to create a new category, you can create a category that does not have any of the names that you see here. Okay, you can't name a category the same name. So one instance of this is I have a teacher who has honors and AP classes, and she wants them to have different categories. And so she uses the categories that the school and the district put out, but she also has additional categories because that's what works for her class. So when you go in to create a category, you select the classes that you want this category to go in. And name the category. Remember, it can't have the same name as another category. You can also choose. The color is totally up to you. I would choose something that's probably not been used. And then you have active or inactive. So if you're going to be using this, you want to have active. If you're not, inactive. And you're also able to mark inactive the district category. So if you're not going to be using a district category, you can mark it as inactive. Description. Maybe you want to put a description here of what your expectation is for homework in this classroom. Remember, the description is available to anyone who can get into their parent portal or student portal, and your admin can see it. So it is a way to just keep everyone informed. You're also able to do your links and your pictures here as well. So assignment default, Power Teacher Pro has 4 score types. You have points, which means that, you know, all of your assignments, your scores are coming out of the total amount of points. Percentage, grade scale, or collected only. So if you know that you're not going to be using something for a grade, you might want to do collected only. So this is the default, and it doesn't mean that you can't change things once you get into creating assignments. You certainly can change things when you get into creating assignments. I'm just going to pick points and put 100. So you always want to make sure that you have your published assignment. I know I met some people this summer who said that they waited until the end. They were in elementary school to put in some grades. So a lot of times they would put never and go back and edit it later just because of the way they did their grades. Published score and count and final grade need to be checked as well if you're going to put them online. And again, this is my view all. So if I've done everything right, I can click save, and Power Teacher Pro lets me know that it's been created successfully. And you can see now in my categories list, in my grading charm, my new category has been added, and it's showing you the classes that it's been added to. I'm going to go into one of the district categories and click edit. And you can see that I cannot really make a lot of changes here. I can add some classes, and I can make it active or inactive. I cannot delete it, but I can make it inactive. So again, if you're not going to use it, that is something you can do, is make it inactive. I'm going to delete this category because I don't really need it. So you can delete a category. So now that I have my category set up, I want to set up my grades. I'm going to traditional grade calculation again, and I'm going to click on quarter 2 because I haven't set up quarter 2. I click the edit pencil. Now you can see that Power Teacher Pro defaults to total points, but I want category weighting. So I'm going to click category weighting and classwork. And then I'm going to add one. I'm going to wait and do my weight at the end. Category weighting project. Category weighting quiz, and one more. Category weighting test. Okay, and just I'm just going to put something in here just to make it easy. You can see how Power Teacher Pro is adjusting everything based on what I've done. Okay, so once I have everything in, then I can click save, and I've set this up. You can drop your lowest scores. I would suggest not doing that until the end so it doesn't fluctuate your scores so much and confuse your parents. But once you've set everything up, you can click save. And now I have quarter 2 for my NC Math 3 Honors test set up. Now, here's a great option. You can actually just copy, okay? So if I click copy traditional grade calculations, now I'm in the top right, you click on your wheel. And I am going to, if I want to copy within a class, that means I'm copying within this NC Math 3 Honors class. So I choose my class. I'm going to choose Math 1. I'm going to choose this one. And I'm going to take the quarter 1 grades, and I'm going to copy it to E1. And then I'm going to hit validate. Okay. So you see there's my summary. It's copied. And I now have this copied down here. Okay. So you can copy those from class to class, or you can copy them to another class. Okay. So that's a great time saver
Sherry,
for Power Teacher Pro.
Sherry,
Yes.
we did have a couple questions come in.
Okay.
If this is a good time for you, if you
Mark,
if you mark the category as inactive, will it not show?
yeah, it's not going to show, and it's not going to mess with your grades. Power Teacher Pro calculates based on what you've put in. So it's not going to mess up your overall grade.
Okay. Another question that came in is, do you have to select which classes the categories will be used in, or are these automatically available in each class?
No, you have to select the classes that they're going to be used in, and I will tell you my experience with this is the teacher who was creating the extra category for her class, it was not showing up in all of the classes because she hadn't selected them all. So I do know that she had to make sure that she had to have that category and those classes selected to be able to show up in all of those classes. If that makes sense, if that's answering your question. So you want to make sure that you have selected the class. See, this is all classes, but my homework a while ago was only showing 3 classes because I had only selected 3 classes. So it was only going to be available for those 3 classes.
All right. That is all the questions we have in thus far. Please make sure you're sending in those questions. Myself and Jill are monitoring those as they come in.
Awesome. So now that we have our grade book set up, we have everything set up in traditional grade calculations, we've done a description and settings. Now it's time for you to put assignments in. So let's go up to create assignment. And you're going to get a pop-up box like you did with the categories. So you will have your assignment criteria on the first tab. Your students tab will be all of the students that you have selected for the class. Your standards, if you have standards, if you're doing a standards base, you will definitely have standards in this tab, but you don't have to have this tab. And then your publish, when do you want this to be in your grade book? So you put in your assignment. Here you can select all of the classes. Notice that I have, again, this is a high school, so I have both semesters here, and I can select what classes I want this assignment to go in. So I'm going to select all of my semester 1. And then an assignment name, and then I'm going to choose a category. I'm going to put it as a quiz. All right, so when this was put in, this would have been the default for the category, but I can change it for this assignment. I'm going to say that this assignment is worth 100 points. Again, this is your choice through here. You can see your different score types, and you can change them even if you put something else in the category. If you use points, you're able to add extra points. So maybe I did 10 extra credit points, and notice right here in my max entry that Power Teacher Pro has went ahead and put 110 points. And if I had a quiz and maybe I wanted to make it, more weight than another quiz that was worth more, valued more, then I could click plus weight. And I want it to be double what a quiz is usually worth. And notice that Power Teacher Pro has went ahead and changed that value as well. Okay, so you can add extra weight and extra points when you're using the point score type. When you use the other score types, you have to use weight only. I want to count in final grade. And if I want to have the same due date, then I just choose the due date that I want. Or if I want a per class due date, if you click on per class, it allows you to have different due dates. Here's your description. Remember, your description is seen by everybody, and so it's important for you to put as much information in here. I think for your tests, for your assignments, a really great thing to put in here would be links to resources, or if you don't have standards in your standards tabs, you could link it to the standards. You could put the learning targets here, anything to keep your parents and your students informed with what you were looking for. So once you have everything here, you click on students. Notice it says this assignment applies to all students. If I want it only to be for certain students, then I click on add/remove students. This top checkbox, if I unclick it, then that's my master checkbox. Everything has gone away. If I check it again, then everything is back. So I'm just going to go through and unclick some students. And those students will not have this in their grade book. It'll be grayed out. I'll show you that in a moment. All right, so if you're going to do your standards, then click the standards that go along with it, and then your publish. The default is usually immediately in your assignments and anything. So that means it's going to go immediately in your grade book. You can choose, if I want to choose, like I want it to publish 2 days before my due date, then I would put 2 days and check publish score. So once you've done all that, you can hit save and close if you're done. However, if you want to duplicate this assignment because you're going to be using this, you're going to be doing a makeup test every week, then just hit save. Okay, and this is telling me that this makeup test 2 was created successfully. And duplicate. So now that I've hit save and duplicate, I have all of the information backed up here. PowerTeacher Pro has given me a new name. I can change that. And I'm really probably only going to have to change the due date. So I would go in here and just change my due date. I'm just picking random due dates. And make sure everything here is what I want it to be and hit save and close. Once I've done that, I'm going to have those assignments appear in my assignment list. So you can see here's makeup test 2, which I just created, and here's the duplicate, makeup test 2_1. Now you can also copy assignments. So if I want to copy the assignment, I click on the wheel at the top right, and I click on copy assignment. So this is just you clicking the term and the class you want to copy from, and the term and the class you want to copy to. Your due dates, you have 3 due dates. You have existing, relational, and custom. So existing is the same due date. Relational is about the same time. So if I'm maybe 10 days into my first quarter when I create this assignment and I click relational, then it'll probably be PowerTeacher Pro will set it about 10 days into the next quarter. And then I choose the assignment that I want to copy and click copy assignments. If everything goes okay, I get my green box at the top telling me everything's great. And I have copied that assignment. And you can see that here. Okay, so that is how to create assignments, duplicate assignments, and copy assignments. If you want to edit or delete an assignment, you just click your little pencil and it brings it up. Be careful deleting because you don't want to delete scores or you know from students. So just be careful about the deletion part. But that's how you create. Any questions about assignments?
Sherry, we don't have a question about assignments, and you may be covering this coming up, but the question is, how do you duplicate the same grade for multiple students, like give everyone 100%, for instance?
Okay, so that's scoring, and we're going into scoring next. So let's do that.
Perfect.
So I've created my assignments, and I'm ready to score. So 2 ways that you can score. You can actually click on the score and enter the scores here and see my drop down arrow here. I can move easily between my assignments. I don't have to keep going out. Or you can click on your score sheet, which is probably easier and more familiar to you. And this is bringing up all of my assignments that I've put in, and I'm able to score easier here, okay? So the first thing I want you to notice is that I have some grayed out boxes here. And those grayed out boxes are there because I did not choose those students to have this assignment when I created the assignment. So remember when I was creating and I unchecked some of those boxes? That's what happens when you uncheck the boxes. You have this little note. This assignment is for specific students. All right, so I'm ready to grade. I am going to double click in any cell. When I double click in any cell, my score inspector shows up, which is right here. Okay, so the score inspector looks like a calculator on the side. And this is where you can put grades in here. So if Christian, which is the first student, made, we'll give him a 90, I can enter it here with my keypad on my computer. I can enter it using the touchpad here. Or I can click in the cell and enter it with the keypad again on the computer here. Okay, so you have options. Now, if everybody made a 90 on this test, instead of having to put 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, I'm going to click in the cell, type in 90, and hit the vertical field, which is in the bottom right of your score inspector. Okay, so now it says the field is complete, 25 scores updated. I click OK, and you can see that all of my students now have a 90 for that assignment. Now I can fill horizontally as well, which means that this student is going to get a 90 for every blank cell. Okay, so I hit the fill horizontal, and every blank cell received a 90. Again, he didn't have to do this one, so it graded out. Okay, so that's how to enter the scores. Now, if this student was absent for the makeup test, then I'm going to use my codes at the bottom, and I'm going to hit absent. And notice I have a little flag here letting me know that this student was absent. This student, go here, is missing the assignment. I'm going to click the missing flag. I would suggest making sure that as you're going through, you put something in every cell. Again, it's just making everyone more aware of, giving everyone a full picture of this student. So if you print a report and you have went through and put your flags and your codes in, that's going to print to the report. You can also filter your reports using your flags and your codes. And we had a guest at the first Power Teacher Pro webinar who was an EC teacher, and she said that if teachers would use the flags and codes and make sure things were in here, it made it a whole lot easier on the EC teachers because they were able to get a fuller picture of what was going on in the classroom with the student. Because if you're not marking that the assignment was late, or maybe they were exempt, or it was incomplete, it doesn't really help other people who are looking at this. So if the parent, if the EC teacher, if admin can look at this and see, you know what, well, here's the reason why, parent, your student is making this grade because they were late on the last 3 assignments. It just gives a well-rounded picture. So your codes here are the same basically as your flags. I'm just going to click here and click on a code, incomplete. So notice incomplete came in here, and then it was marked here. And I can unmark that exempt if the student wasn't exempt. Usually incomplete and absent and missing are already in here, but your districts can add codes if they want. Now I want to add a comment. So if I want to add a comment, I can do that in 2 places. I can type the comment here. Please. So once I started typing, a blue icon came into the cell, letting me know that there's a comment. I can also click, if you'll look at the top right of your score inspector, there's a comment icon. If I click on the comment icon, it gives me a larger area to type. Okay, so it just makes it larger. You also have a comment bank. I do not have that bank in this test session, but I want to just show you that if you click on it, it says no comments available, but in yours you should have the comment bank. You will have a list of comments. You will have stars that you can favorite comments so that they show up first. And then you have an insert button on this side where you can put the comment into the student's cell. So if I want to review the comment, I just click on the icon and notice it said great work on your homework. So it's bringing up whatever the comment is. Okay. So once I have finished putting all of my grades in, I'm going to click Save. And it's letting me know that the data has been saved. You can view those comments. They don't really show up in the test class, but you have 2 places to view the comments, and that is one in your student tab. You click on Comment Log, and then that'll bring up your comments. And then in your grading charm, if you click on comment verification, that brings up all of the comments for a particular class. So those are two places to view your comments. Okay, so that's how you put in your scores. Are there any questions about putting in your scores?
Sherry, we've got a couple questions on the table
Okay.
right now. Kind of going back to assignments, can you copy assignments from a previous year? This is coming to us from Sandra.
Okay. You should, I know, yeah, I see 2017, 2018. So it looks like it goes back 1 year
And it may
in the
be
test class.
that just may be the database that you have. So
That I have, because I will tell you that in the videos that I watched, it said that it migrated, that all of the data from Power Teacher Gradebook was migrated into Power Teacher Pro, and you were able to copy from any of that. So I'm only working with a limited amount here, but you should be able to scroll down and copy those in yours.
So it looks to me like if you go to the copy assignment screen and then click on terms and that drop down and then use the scroll bar and be able to see how far back you could copy from.
Yeah.
All right, one more question from Sandra. It says that she has a teacher that's asking what happened to the keys that had all the scores. Like there was a key for 1 to 100. She's never seen it, but she swears that it was there last year.
It says scores 1 to 100.
Yeah.
I have not. I've only worked with Power Teacher Pro this year and a little bit at the end of last year, and I've never seen a 1 to 100. Where was it at?
Sandra, could you just kind of clarify for us maybe where it was?
And maybe Sandra, were you using Power Teacher Gradebook, not Pro last year? If we can just get a little more clarification on that. She doesn't know. Because there are a few features in Power Teacher Gradebook that are not currently available in Power Teacher Pro. And some of those features are coming, so maybe that might be what we're seeing. And then,
And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, there.
I just know that from when I first started looking at Power Teacher Pro last year, and now there's been a few updates and changes too.
Brian just said, thank you, Brian. There used to be a drop down or slide out menu that you could enter scores from on Power Teacher Gradebook. So that might be what you're referring to, Sandra, but the score inspector is what we have now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, this is probably the best place to put in your grades now, and you do have to use the score inspector or the score sheet.
And Brian just went ahead and said you could set up your own quick entry score list as well. Okay, Brian. Well, I don't see that is available right now, but maybe it's on their roadmap, Power School's roadmap. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that. And
are there any other questions?
There are. Just scrolling through these. We had I put in an assignment, but it didn't show up. So I tried to pull it in again, but it says it's already in there. Why can't I see it?
So my first thing is to make sure that the assignment you put in is in the class selector at the top. Because I know a lot of times, just with me playing around with this, I will put an assignment in and I haven't checked the right class, or I just check that first to make sure, maybe go through all of your classes to see if it's in and that it's on the right class. Because if it gave you that gray or that green bar, it should have went in. Did you just do it now, the create assignment?
Angel, that question was for you. Did you just create that assignment? Well, We'll go on to the next question while she sends that response
Okay.
in. Let's see. Do you use an app to record grades from your iPad or phone?
Yes, you can. And when you're using the score inspector, that is what that keypad is for.
All right, thank
So
you.
this keypad right here would be beneficial to you if you were using your iPad or your app.
Okay, Angel says she's good now. So we'll go to the
Okay.
next question. Can you copy assignments between teachers? I'm an EC teacher that has my own core class as well as co-teaching. I would like to be able to copy the assignments from the general ed teacher's gradebook into my gradebook.
I don't know that you can go cross gradebooks, but I do know that you can add like a co-teacher. I did read that. You might want to talk to your data manager to see about that, but I did read that was a feature with Power Teacher Pro, was adding a teacher to your gradebook.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the basics. Let's see, that gets us to setting it up and grading. Now, if you want to like do your final grades or modify final grades, you can go into grades traditional when it's time to do report cards. And if you will look at my screen, at the bottom of grades traditional, grading charm traditional, is final grade status. So this is where, when your grades are complete and ready to be turned into your data manager. I know when I did grades, I had to type in grades were completed on and put the date, and then you have to click this green button or put a green check in this box which says Q1 final grades are complete, and then save. You can also get to that screen through the comment verification. So if you click on comment verification, you come down here at the bottom, you see that final grade status again, okay? So that is how you do your final grade. If you modify a grade, you can do that. But once I went in and modified it, notice how I have this this gray triangle. It's in the cell as well as in the score inspector, and that is just alerting that the grade has been changed. It changed it, but it put that little triangle there to say that the grade has been modified. So that's modifying a final grade. And that's the basics for setting up your grade book, creating categories, creating assignments, copying those assignments. Again, everything that we've talked about is in this slide with a few more slides to help you out. The slide 34 has two help sites. One is the question mark that we were talking about in Power Teacher Pro, and the other is your NCDTI website page. So if you click on the picture, you'll get the link. And this is a really great site. I've used it. I've probably watched pretty much all of the videos. The little MP4s are very quick and to the point. So if there's just like one thing you need help on, like you forgot how to do the class description, so you just click on that. And it's not that long. Most of them are under 10 minutes, and not many of them are even that long. So it's short, to the point, and really helpful. So I would suggest using that because it's a really great site. Are there any other questions about Power Teacher Pro?
Okay.
We have some time now.
Yes. We do have a question that came in. Can you show again how to do final grades?
Okay. So final grades, if I go to the grading charm and click on traditional. And then at the bottom of traditional is final grade status. And that's just where you're going to click. You have to click that button, that box right here. And then click save. Your county may require that my county required that we put the date in the comment box and stated that the grades were complete. I don't know if your county requires that or not, but that would go in the comment box. So that's one place. The other place is if you click the grading charm and click on comment verification, then at the bottom is final grade status again. That's the same box that was in traditional. So those are two ways to get to final grade status. Any other questions?
I'm just asking for some clarification on a question that was coming in. All right. Okay, Angel said thank you for showing her the final grades again. Wonderful.
Oh, you're welcome.
You guys, we still have we definitely have 14 minutes left scheduled in the hour. If you have any questions, please don't leave quite yet because Jill will be going over a couple last minute housekeeping things in order to earn your participation certificate, which will allow you to earn your CEU credit. So please, if you have any questions, Sherry is still willing to help answer all those questions, and of course Jill and I are as well. So please send those in. We're monitoring those. We'll give you a few minutes to send those in before we wrap up. Oh, we have a couple more.
Okay.
So when I imported grades from Canvas, they disappeared on my Canvas grades. Do you know anything about this?
It disappeared from Canvas. I do.
Yes.
I do know that if you go here to the Power Teacher Pro Canvas Passback, I watched that and I looked at that, and both of those helped me. Did you set everything up? You imported your categories into Canvas from Power Teacher Pro. I know there's like 4 steps to get them to import it into Gradebook. And it should not have disappeared from Canvas, though. I didn't read anything about it disappearing from Canvas. But I will say that these two definitely helped me out. Tiffany, I don't know, maybe you guys know why it would have disappeared.
I do not. I did just put in the chat the website that you're looking at right now, you guys, for some teacher resources. I'm glad you brought this up, Sherry. In your chat, everyone, you're going to see the website that will bring you back to that page that she's on, and there is a passback video there as well. Susan, that might be something that you would have to contact maybe your Canvas admin at your site. And if they're not able to figure it out at your district or at your school, I'm not sure if you're at a charter school, then they may need to contact their Canvas CSM if they've done their troubleshooting steps. Okay. Also, let's see, why can't I see Power Teacher Pro on the admin side from the data manager side? Benita, I can answer that question. It's probably because you have not been added the role to your security settings. So if you are not able, you're a data manager, I'm assuming. So we need to, are you a data manager at a charter? You're a data manager. Okay, thank you. Are you a charter at a district? If you'll send that to me. And then we had a question. We used to be able to save our password instead of typing it in each time in Power Teacher. Carlotta, I think now that we're using, I'm assuming you guys are using IAM, you're not able to save that password. You do have to type it in. Okay, so Benita, you're at a public school. Okay, so you will need to contact your coordinator, because you should be able to access Power Teacher Pro. You should be able to see your teacher's Power Teacher Pro grade books. So if you'll contact your coordinator, they will be able to add that role to your security settings. Then another question, where can I find the slides for this presentation? Yes, so Tracy, we have put that in the chat. I can also send that again to you for the, and actually the chat, thank you, Jill. Jill just put that in the chat right now for the slides. Also, the webinar, the recorded version, if you'll give us a few days to get this posted, we have two more of these, and I think we're going to post the best one, but we will be posting this to our NCSIS site, and so you will go to this site right here that I'm going to be typing in for you. I'm just trying to get the direct link, and it will be under recorded refresher, excuse me. So I'm going to send that to you right now. Great question though. It will just give me a couple of days to get that posted, Tracy, if you would. All right, we have about 9 more minutes. I do have another question that came in. Yes, I agree, Brian. So on that page, Brian said, could we share, maybe want to share the PDF on the comparison between PowerTeacher Gradebook versus PowerTeacher Pro? It's very helpful. Sherry knows exactly where to get that. Yes. Again, this is what Brian was suggesting. If you were used to using PowerTeacher Gradebook, and of course, all districts and charters are now on Pro. This is a PDF that's very helpful, and the PDF has now been put. The link to the PDF is now in the chat, so you can access it there or on the SIS website as well. But there's the comparison. Thank you, the PDF that Brian is talking about, and it has great screenshots of the differences and what the screens look like.
Angel, yes, in the follow-up email that we send your certificate in, we can put all these links, the links to the presentation, the links to the SIS, as well as the links to this PDF. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, this is Jill again. Just a couple housekeeping. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them, but some housekeeping while everybody's still on. If you open up the presentation that Sherry's been going through, and you go down to the last two slides, slide 37 and 38, just a couple housekeeping things for us. The first is an online registration, just so we have your contact information. We've got your role within your district. We know what district or charter that you're coming from. If you'll complete that for us, we would greatly appreciate it. And then last but not least, slide 38 is a feedback slide. It's also another form. It just kind of tells us some things for process improvement. This is our first series of webinars that we've been providing since PowerTeacher Pro is being implemented across the state. We wanted to make sure that we could put some support structures in place. So we're going to be doing this specific webinar again a couple more times, and then we have other webinars that we're going to be doing in this series. So it gives us a little bit of feedback so that we can do some process improvement. We greatly appreciate any feedback you could give us. So just take a few minutes to fill out those two forms for us on slides 37 and 38. And while you're doing that, we can look at the couple of questions that have just come in.
All right.
And Angel, you said you didn't see the slides. So if you look in the actual chat, in the bottom right-hand corner of your panel, you should see a bit.ly, and I'll put it in there again.
So Angel, right where you're typing questions, do you see a little pane that says chat? That's where you would find the links. If you expand, click on the little it looks like a little play button. A question we also had, I'm using the app on my phone for this webinar. Can I access the links after it's over? Yes, Karen. We'll make sure you have all these links as well when we send out the certificate. If you just will give us a couple of days to get this information or the certificate out to you, might be sooner than that, but we'll make sure that you have all that information. Okay. If Sherry, if you'll go to slides 37, please. Is that must be the sign in. Okay. Yes, Sandy. Yes, Sandy, if you'll just click on the bit.ly that is in the chat or the one we just sent you, or copy that and put it in your search and just access the
So
bit.ly.
if you click on the picture registration, then the link comes up under it.
Yep. Thank you. And
like that.
Yep. We want to make sure everybody signs in because this is how we send, we go by your email address to send your certificate. Okay, she's got it. Any other questions? We have about 4 minutes. You guys have had some really wonderful questions.
It's been good.
Shannon, as long as you clicked on that registration and followed those directions on slide 37, you should be good to go. I'm not able to access the feedback screen. So the feedback screen's on slide 38. Some people are using an app on their phone. And so again, if you click on that feedback, Sherry, they'll see the link that comes right under it for the feedback to get to the feedback form.
If you're on your phone, save that bit.ly.
Yes.
Because then you can still go in there and fill out your feedback once you get to the computer.
That's correct.
Yeah, and as Brian says, when you're clicking on the picture, then a link will come up below that picture that you'll want to click on. But if you can't get to the registration or the feedback, Tiffany still has all of your email information from when you registered previously for the webinar. So you'll get your certificate. Don't worry about that.
Yep.
Angel, we'll make sure that you get it.
Yep.
So Hannah, we'll have to look. There may be something in the someone else set up the feedback, so we'll check on that.
But as it was advertised, it's 0.1. But we need to double check on that. Thank you, Hannah, for pointing that out. All right. Well, we have it's 1 minute till 8. So just want to thank everyone for attending tonight. And you are able to access this bit.ly, this presentation, at any time. If you need any help with anything or have trouble signing in, remember that I also have a record of your attendance tonight if you are here and present in the webinar, so please don't worry about that. And we just want to thank you for your time, and we also want to thank our ambassador, Sherry Wood, for presenting for us again tonight. Jill, is there anything else you would like to add?
That's it. Thanks again for attending the webinar.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
great night. Bye-bye.